now that are all kind of collaborating. I first came here about 12 years ago as I suppose, an early digital nomad. So I'm originally from the UK, and I did an economics degree, actually worked for a hedge fund, so long-short trading fund, which is like kind of corporate and hardcore. So we had about $2 billion under management, 30 of us. That grew to 5 and became like super intense. And I decided to leave and entrepreneurial, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I think what's kind of interesting, it's quite intimate. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but there's a few things we could potentially discuss or talk about. Like I founded a clothing company called Plank's Clothing. It's a ski brand. So I effectively founded it kind of as a nomad. It was a lifestyle business originally. And my summer's here in Thailand, building supply, preparing for winter. Then I go to the Alps and we do sales and marketing. It's now, but we've always had a very strong community-based marketing strategy. It's kind of pre-social really. So we can talk about that kind of startup process, and then we transition the business. We raise some equity, transition more from our business to stuff. And I've been part of the funding rounds across quite a few different sources of income. As the saying, John was crowdfunding. And I'm at a stage now where I'm transitioning out of data. So I chair my business now. I have a board of directors, just like full-time MD. So we're preparing now for institutional. Obviously set back by COVID a few years because 80% customer base is British. So yeah, like it's kind of end to end really, like literally from starting from nothing, building this full consumer brand. It's so intimate. There's not actually that many of us here. Are there any particular parts anyone sees? I could give my founder story like I would to an investor, or if there's anything more around team building or like psychology or coping mechanisms. I know being an entrepreneur can be quite a low play sometimes, quite stressful. Is there anything you guys want to get out? Fundraising.
Lifestyle business. Transitions. Scale.
Yeah.
I'm just curious your motivation. You know, why are you doing what you're doing? I like to ask people why they do things.
I think it's just really fun. So maybe we could talk around psychology a little bit and motivation. I think when you get to probably look around, we're probably at that stage where we're really working out what we really do. So I think maybe like through our 20s, we're kind of working out what's up. Maybe through 30s, we're coming to get really good at what to do. 40s, it's kind of nailing it. It's kind of how I've seen my life anyway kind of pan out. I think understanding yourself and your DNA, like again, it sounds a bit pretentious, but like your authentic self, what motivates you and what you're really passionate about. And I feel like towards where I'm at now, I'm speaking to more kind of investors and my network, really experienced business people. So I've just brought the founder of Chiang onto my board. Also built a brewery, so about 80 million to invest. So he's come on to me like the last funding round. He's connected me to a few people in his network, and I think I'm really privileged in the position to be able to speak to people who've kind of gone through that process of growing up and being successful at the end of it. I think they've all got in common a real passion for what they do and really comfortable with themselves. They're really hard work, but they know they should. So they know what motivates them and what is. I think, yeah, just working yourself out, right? So yeah, I left the hedge fund that reason really. I didn't want to be locked into a corporate job. A kind of corporate that was a part of KPMG. So I kind of see, I can see that whole life with me. I broke out of it. Actually, so I invested in some property, which was successful, which and developed property in Nipponese Beach and blew off a bit, blew off the steam. And that was quite conscious. This is a 2008 campaign. So kind of my time where I was sitting on the beach where it's a huge runoff across the farm. And that helped me go back to it, I suppose. So I could take some time and soul search. And that's when I first came here. So that would be like early 2009. My brother was an assessor for Cambridge University. So you just say, come here, chill, work out what you want to do. I've always loved skiing. I never really had a chance to ski, so I went and did a ski season. And I met my co-founder, Jim. So he's an ex-pro skier. He's British, so we don't have any pro skiers. He's like the godfather of free ski from the UK. He used to buy like Oakley, Patagonia, Vans. Really interesting. So he worked on like the brand side, but also the retail side. So he knew to be an athlete for a brand, so to promote them in the right way. We look at it like aspirational and knowledgeable. So we had the aspirational part, we knew what it took to look good, seeing him to promote brand correctly, being around those big brands and really understanding themes and what he had to present. Also on the retail side, so he did a lot of like catalogue work for retailers, especially in the UK. So it's actually really quite, and he had a vision for each brand, would have aesthetics and the values of a snowboard brand, but so that's kind of into skiing, but snowboarders have got disruptive values and mainstream. And there was always that like the Burton battle between skiers and snowboarders. So he was a really early free skier, but skiing was not part of that kind of scene. And so when he came out with twin skis, that's a big game changer in the ski scene. So yeah, he had to do for which is the brand, and it was really, to be honest, if I'm back in Thailand, was at the end of the ski season, didn't want to go back into finance. I had a passive income from my property. So yeah, I love Chiang Mai. So basically, it was really the early stage when transparency was becoming a big thing with Garmin. So like Patagonia and Nike and Adidas had started publishing their supply chain. And so I managed to find some of these supply chain lists and cross-referenced it with Thailand and Bangkok and found a couple of really amazing factories in Bangkok. So one that I still use that I actually recycle knitwear with. So they'd never done any recycle before. I managed to persuade them that this was the future, invest in it, we can work together. And so we developed different applications using recycled yarns. Set up a bank with about 3 million plastic bottles for our collection. 85-90% of our collection is recycled. So yeah, I think in the early days, Jim was visionary in terms of speed, but he was purposeful as well. So even though our backgrounds were super different, like he was from like north of England, really working class, I was from London, more middle class, so we had the same kind of common value. So I think it's really stood the test of time. Yeah, we managed to make it work. We built a ski brand. We took it to about 500,000 turnover in 3 or 4 years, purely organically. It was just me, Jim, and now he's our creative director, Rob. And it was super efficient. Like early days, everything went through, all decisions made. So me managing the organisation and Rob and Jim dealing with all the creative output. And I managed to get to about 500,000. We had a store in the ski resort in France, and then we went to that was a friends and family round. So we raised It's called EIS Equity UK. So that's it's a kind of government-backed product that allows you to offset some of your risk against income tax. So it kind of de-risks the investor. So basically, if you've got a brand into £1,000 in the business, you get 30k off your income tax bill. If the business fails, you get another 30k. So it really de-risks. Yeah, it's a super equity for startups. So I know we create quite a complicated little business. We had our own founders there, we had online, we weren't really doing any performance marketing at the time. We had no budget for it. We were all selling all around the world, 30 countries. I remember being really part by quite a big guy that we were connected to. Really disparate. Say that we're doing 600k turnover. We're trying to show that it's being kind of potentially global brand, but been really having really more traction in one specific market. So that was really interesting to go through. And that then it leads to networking. So working out who within our network can give us the kind of PE side, really, a more strategic roadmap, quite a cool organic brand. But then how can we turn that from really like a hobby from a hobby into a lifestyle? Like, so decided to try and scale all three channels. We use the Val store and the kind of Val as a ski resort in France as a model. We then wanted to replicate the ski resorts, and so we opened 3 other stores at ski resorts. So that worked for marketing as well as the sales, and we created a French business that jumped up our turnover quite quickly. And yeah, it kind of was really complicated. Running an e-com business, all the design, all the production, all the distribution, but we grew 50% year on year. So we grew £2 million in 3 seasons, and then COVID, which was pretty traumatic. But we've just done our first institutional round fundraising. So moving from friends and family to business angels to then institutional debt, so raising debt for working capital. So as you grow and you become seasonal, it's like the opposite. It's all recycled, so we have a really long lead time. So there's a big gap between when we start selling. So we have to raise working capital for that. We don't want to use debt over equity, basically, to continue to scale to limit the diluted we become. So that was quite a big step, going from just business angels, where you just really talk around the brand, then working out. There's usually a spectrum across the head and the heart, and you want to just have to find a sweet spot where you had experienced investors that had deep enough pockets that could benefit from the ideas, but also, and that's where the heart comes in. So you're trying to offer them something that kind of money can't buy. So it's kind of understanding psychology, really. What at that point, and your work to be able to be investing in small businesses, it isn't always the head, it's the heart. And I found, like you've probably seen it already with you guys, as entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are kind of generous with their time. You know, they're more generous with you because I think you kind of know how hard it is to be working for yourself. You know, having your team to be responsible for payroll every month for your family. Like, a lot of goodwill with business angels. So if you are losing money, then ask. You know, go for it. Ask, because rich, successful entrepreneurs that exited businesses, you know, generally they're quite supportive, and this is working out that kind of head heart rate and almost turning it around. So when you pitch them, giving them a chance, giving them an opportunity to give you as much information so you can read them, you can kind of work out which buttons to push and where you tailor your pitch depending on who you're speaking to. Yeah, I can do it quite simply, like head and heart. And if it's super head, like, you know, really technical, then I'll bring out lots of KPIs and stats. I'll talk about performance marketing and class, and you know how we measure and how responsive we are to deploying, building, creative mapping, cohort analysis, and all this good stuff that is central to scaling an e-com business. Or if it's something like corporate, I might look at governance, and actually we're a grown-up business, we have a board, we have non-execs, that give us support, and that gives us credibility. But it might just be a steer, and then I can just say, we can get a chance to you Addington, the famous here, not the idea of that. I think a lot around fundraising at early stage, networking, find the right kind of outside investor, working out whatever that is, whatever the proposition is, whatever you're scaling, really try and build a pipeline. You're not wasting your time. You're speaking to people that are in that space, have an interest. And then when you start pitching something, let them do it, work out what floats their boat and take your pitch to the audience and reading the room. So yeah, then you move away from angels, where you have this one conversation, you get more like institutional, and it's all head. You might get in through the heart, like it might be like a junior that just thinks that heard about in my example, like planks. Oh, these are a cool brand, this is a good opportunity. So you might get put in the door. But then as soon as you go up, the decision maker is all head, it's all numbers, it's very process driven. And so in transitioning from angel institutions, we had institutional just before COVID. We went through a proper round of DD, and that's hardcore preparing for that. It's really stimulating, but they were probably in the way that angels haven't. Like angels, often they'll lean on the last person's due diligence. You can get a really good experienced investor in from the heart, really, and then leverage that money. So loads of money, right? And basically people are lazy. And so when I do a funding round, I'll always start by sophisticated investors at the beginning. And that's a very interesting process. So really humble. You are for me, of asking for advice. And you almost collaborate with them, you sit to check, you get their advice and consulting, especially because if they feel that they're influencing your strategy, you kind of feel part of it. And so quite often it's like book building, right? So you'll get what we call an expression of interest. That isn't a commitment, but it's an expression of interest. So if you get to after I'll put in 50. And so you can use that then to leverage your relationships with people that say as you move down the road, right? You start with the most sophisticated investors, you get them on board with the plan, you make iterative change the plan a bit, and then go back to them and say, thanks for your advice, this is how we responded. Now we've responded, would you back us? And then they might say, well, I'm interested. And if you can get a number out of them, then you can then start book building. So you have like 3 or 4 people that might put in 50K, you get to 200, so you're half a million, you could book build to say 200, you're almost at that half critical mass. And you can start seeing some less sophisticated investors, where it's all about the half. And you could say, well, I started CSR section, and they express interest, and they're leaning on due diligence and more sophisticated investors. And then it gets easier, and you get better at your pitch. It's already been built by the tougher audience, like the more sophisticated investors. Work down that page, you get better at it, it gets easier to get to where the competitions you've had before. Almost offer they haven't asked, and that then makes you sophisticated confidence that you know more than they do about something. Yeah, the institutional gets harder, more about due diligence. And we had an offer of about £1 million for work capital, and that failed because of COVID. The woman that did the commercial DD on us kind of felt sorry for us and for us, and helped us kind of navigate through COVID together. And she invested in a business, and like she's a Khan doesn't really like it either. She's kind of like my business therapist. She gives me quite scolding advice about what I wouldn't wear vintage or something. Yeah.
What would you say is the level of available funding now versus 5 years ago?
It depends what space you're in. So consumer's really hard at the moment. I mean, generally, it's quite hard to raise money at the moment. You know, so much uncertainty in the world. Inflation's high, unemployment's high, there's kind of war's breaking out. It's a really general question. Like, it really depends.
Sure.
Yeah, what area.
You know, would you say there's 30% of the available funding versus 5 years? Or would you say it's...
So it's a different question because actually there's a lot of money available now. And so there's a huge amount, like PEs and VCs have a lot of cash. And but no one wants to risk on it. So there are opportunities where you get a bargain at this stage, at the moment, and that's where risk taking comes. You have to look at the market and take a position. So I'd say there's a lot of cash available, but not a big appetite at the moment. But again, I'm in a very small, specific space. I couldn't really talk. Sorry, what was your name? You're in. Were you listening? Where do you see the kind of private, the PE markets?
Yeah, it's 100% right. There's as much capital as ever.
I mean, like we're talking fresh yields, so in Amazon, a lot of track collapse. So money was flying in 21, especially 2021. There was just money everywhere, especially in e-commerce. I think that's when started. Maybe some people sold it. A lot of people did around 2021.
Okay.
I kind of wish I sold more then. Everything was or fundraising or exiting.
But yeah, it's fake. It was fake.
Money in the bank account.
I know that the brands are...
It's a post-pandemic.
Yeah, that boom was crazy for e-com. Then it contracted a lot. It's hard. I mean, that's why they're all collapsing because the interest is going up and the margins are going down. Squeeze, flip, they're like burning one.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know exactly what to do. I think that's why. It's a lot of talk and equity, and they had all this, free money.
Sounds like New York.
Yeah, we worked for other reasons that they collapsed because I think we went upside down.
Are you saying that Amazon as a business model is going to experience a pretty significant contraction because of these factors that you're talking about? I mean, I'm listening to you talking about skiing, which is, it may be sport and it's fun and everything, but it's these.
Is the question is it sold on Amazon? Are you guys exposed?
We're actually looking at it at the moment. Yeah, so we are looking at
Yeah.
So we're now deciding which marketplace to go. So our main market's the UK. So direct. Yeah, we have our own website. Yeah, we have a website.
And then ski resorts in France.
Yeah, so we had 4 stores moving. So we took the brand to 4 stores. We had those 3 of them, which was pretty tough. But it's helped. It helped simplify the focus. We came out of COVID, with a more grown-up business for sure. It's pretty stressful. We had to close 3 of the stores. We managed to pay all our staff. We had to use a lot of government support funding. We did more equity. We did a future fund round, which is where the British business equity we raised. It's quite interesting. The early stage is co-angel funds, where you can get in the UK, sure in the States there's even more. Their angel funds cases where you can get 2 or 3 agents to back your business. The to the British bank, those government banks, will then lean their email back. But you have one basically pitches on your behalf. See the entrepreneur, they're investing in the end. And so again, it's kind of this thing, not right? To take the money over. So they're leaning on other people. And so what I did is they took the concept, but the individuals will match it. So the crazy, random like businesses that British, the biggest PE firm in the UK, is now invested in much random, the unbackable. A lot of stories came out afterwards, like sex toy businesses, like all sorts of random stuff that we all own. Like
Yeah.
He's from UK, he does like.
okay, maybe he got some money out. Yeah,
What
so
is the actual state of the ski business? Because, you know, you're talking about if people are holding on to their money, skiing is, I would say, more discretionary than I gotta have it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, so it's we call them considered purchases, but it's quite a middle class sport, a bit like golf. Like if you're into it, you'll do it. We find that people are still skiing, especially, you know, generally people are investing in experience products post-COVID, right? So we're seeing again, consumers being hit quite hard. So people, I still want to, I have a bit more money in my pocket now actually, but I'm going to spend it on experiences. So kind of fits between really. Like you do need kit to go experience, but it might be a considered purchase. Actually, I'll make do with already. So kind of, you know, somewhere between the two. In general, like the ski industry, it's not booming, it's not growing. There's obviously a long-term risk around climate change. The outdoor business is growing. So products, you know, technically waterproof breathability features that were developed, technical outdoor brands are now trickling through into the market. So you'll find a lot of streetwear, pallets and board face, you know, vans are using Gore-Tex in some pieces. You know, there's a trickle down now with technology that's been developed by outdoor companies. I mean, just look at the rise of the North Face, right? Like, and now Patagonia, inner city people that are wearing it just for commuting with products we've developed maybe 5-6 years ago for like mountains. So yeah, it's an interesting space. Like outdoors, very interesting space. And then obviously it's linked to sustainability because climate change affects certainly like so we're very careful with how we talk about our sustainability marketing. So we're not friendly marketing. So even though we do quite a lot with recycles and organics, and we partner with Protect Our Winters, the Jeremy Jones charity, we're really scared of greenwashing. And we think, yeah, I think it's going to be, I mean, it's already happening now, the big kind of rollout into massive trade shows where there's been a huge category saying, doing this to save our home planet, and there's all this noise around it, and then at the end of the show, it's that's Patagonia, right? Yeah, absolutely pioneers.
Yeah, I mean, it's based on the piece was recycled plastic, right?
Yeah.
They're saying that when they go to a trade show, after they've done the trade show, all the crap.
Well, yeah, that's kind of it, right? So there's so much bullshit and greenwashing, certainly in garment. So we're quite conflicted. So we're paradox, like provide ski clothing to people who actually, reverse impact in the environment.
We make jackets from plastic bottles.
So all our outwears, all the face fabrics, yeah. plastic yarns made from recycled restaurants. And it's really interesting traceability, right? Like, how can you really prove that it is what it is? It's crazy now. In China, there's plastic bottle factories that are being made just by plastic bottle yarn to the fabric mills. So they worked out that you can cheaper to just make a new one than it is to clean an old one. Yeah,
Yeah, I tried to buy recycled packaging Chiang. It costs more than recycled packaging.
well, it will, because there's another process. You're turning it from something else into something. But yeah, it's like, it's still bad for the environment. You know, it still has to use a lot of energy up to process it, a lot of chemicals for dyeing. So we're very careful. And a lot of that's due to our target market. So we're kind of 20s to 30s, and people are educated now. And to the green ones to get out. So yeah, so we say if you look at the Plank's clothing website, it says we're not eco-friendly. So it talks about what we do, but also what we don't do. And we certainly don't make it happen. We're good for the environment.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is plastic. It's just,
Right.
Yeah, like 5 to 10 more minutes. If you look
Your manufacturers are based surrounding.
Yeah, good question. So originally when I founded it, it was all just streetwear, and all the knitwear was done in Thailand. Then when we started introducing outerwear, it was in Vietnam, but I was sourcing the fabric from Taiwan, so it's all waterproof and breathable, so it's really technical. I was a control freak then, and I was really naive, and so instead of having to trust agents, I just do it all myself. So I go to the factory, I do everything. It taught me business. It's probably helped later in the stages of the business, but it was very hands-on, very intensive. We'd shipped the fabric to Vietnam, and what's interesting, so there's this big, amazing cruise and 5-star hotels, but they get to full capacity, and probably 70-80% used to just factories. They to the factory outside to the countryside that have no quality and no one speaks English there. It's not front. So what I kind of worked that out, and I went to the satellite factories, helped me avoid the minimums, so I could, instead of style, I could get like 300, because I was sourcing the fabric, a lot of the material myself, and didn't have to rely so much on a big factory to do it. Take a big jump where kind of $15 a unit up to 70. So suddenly just introduce one unit out where your work capital price 3 times as much. It's a really big jump. So keep like any lean startup, right? Keep your minimum down to the absolute lowest possible. Things the feedback loop go much, and we were well funded for all of those days.
versus here, like skip history, lifestyle, ways more professional.
You have to manage the stress. So yeah, probably the biggest change in my lifestyle. So I've got a very supportive wife next to me, so that's helpful. Yeah, so yeah, I meditate every day. I visualize. It's really helped me. So that's from a personal coping mechanism. From a business point of view, it's just systems about. I mean, you grow up from a strategic point of view where you're much more sophisticated experience. So the strategic planning naturally improves. And then from a systems point of view, so we're generally through that business planning and that roadmap creation, you're then really understanding what the KPIs are with it. And then it's then, how do we actually report on these KPIs? How do we really measure these things that it's really sophisticated people attending us. So yeah, it's pretty in for automated systems to move from page spreadsheets into into proper systems. So we use this and Power BI.
What would you say is your biggest need at the moment?
So maybe a year ago, my biggest need was to step out of data. So coming back to that idea of like knowing yourself, I became really like anxious and depressed because I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. I really lost to the tanks. So it was around kind of recognizing what really makes me tick, the entrepreneurial part. And so I find that I'm in entrepreneurial parts of the business, like fundraising and business planning and strategy, I then I enjoy it more. And around the management side and the UK and the running of the business less so. So I hired an MD who was a non-director at ETX GM for EMEA. He's now on full time for us. So just before COVID, I'd already started doing, not necessarily for like full time, but I started just left first, and so we became connected. We met at ISPO in Munich. Actually, we decided that, well, then COVID happened, it wasn't the right time. And so we then became a non-executive director. So at the same time as the woman that did the due diligence. And so the funding round that he was part of, so we worked together, kind of trauma surviving COVID. We learned to work together. We got COVID and it was a really mutual thing. I mean, it's great for us because he already likes it before we went, like he fits the right profile. Actually, way beyond what we were expecting. He was a sales director for year. So he's super experienced. And then yes, that's an interesting one. Like again, it's about psychology, like understanding why you want to do it, what are the risks we look for in terms of making such a decision. I think a lot of it with him was around moving from a bigger brand. And does he really recognise like to be in a scale up where you want to do something, you don't just like this is proposal and just get signed off the office. If something goes wrong, doesn't really matter, try again. Worst case scenario, you bust, right? If your plans don't work. That psychology, is he ready to move from a bigger business to a smaller one and understand the constraints? But he really wanted to be entrepreneurial. He worked in big corporate all his life. So I really trusted that personal motivation was enough to give him that grit and determination to deal with, being really stressed out and catch what happens in 2 weeks payroll, but to pay a factory, to pay first, going through that stress of, managing on a weekly basis, which is tough.
I always have questions. I mean, it's a more obviously you're a Thai company, you're a UK company.
We're a UK company and a French subsidiary.
And then I think it seems like you said it, but just fundraising mostly in the West, not in Asia, right?
Yeah, all in the UK.
Would you recommend for us? Fundraising would be more in the West.
No idea.
Okay.
I mean,
I feel like generally, if you want to do fundraising in the West, like I see this. And then it seems like you're the operator, right? You said
yeah, our creative directors, our designers, founders. A lot of what makes Plank special is like back collaboration. You get a lot of gyms, this kind of view of the world, plus Rob's amazing technical abilities Jim's concepts and ideas into a user. And that was honestly, it was amazing. I literally just arrived in and come up with 3 t-shirt slogans. And probably like those will go away and or macro goes or whatever. And yeah, within 48 hours, we had like skiing, believing, skiing rocks, dropping bombs, all sketched out. So and we turn it into music. And it was always quite edgy and funny, and between the 3 of us, we kind of always had to do a little bit of people. I think that's when you get into scale up, like challenging with it now. So you, again, coming back to your own like DNA and what really makes you tick. It's a challenge now because not everything is what's in his life. It's not a perfect reflection of how he sees it. Because we've got a much bigger and that's quite a challenge. So in the way that my role evolved, and I've had to kind of work out what's best for me, is what's best for the business. He's gone through that process more from the rate side rather than an entrepreneurial side.
Do you think, is there any difference you think between the UK market and the Asian market? Because on the one hand, my sense is that economies are kind of moving more toward Asia, dealing with Asian markets. So it's one thing to market to British people, it's another thing to market to Chinese people, and their mindsets are quite different. But there's a lot of money in China too, so you could really, if you found the right Chinese partner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just very experienced. I do have ventures can be really helpful to understand. Yeah, definitely. That's a good. You've got partnering with.
I mean, you even got this scheme on Vietnam, isn't it? Doi Intanon. Doi Intanon is the highest mountain in China, in Thailand.
I don't know. It's skiing there. There might a snowflake might
I've
fall
heard that
once in
there's
the
some
last 20
skiing
years.
there, so that's. I see. Anyway.
But I think what I would say is, I think building a franchise, famous brand in the West,
Mm-hmm.
Chinese like doing and what's really established, Chinese will want to buy. So they want to buy the famous
Good
brand.
point.
Just look at the copyright. It's quite
Yeah, file
challenging.
trademarks.
I heard that. I mean, I don't know much about e-commerce. I heard products made in Vietnam, there's no tax or duty to the US versus China. There's taxes and duty. Is that correct?
So I don't import. But
You don't
trade
sell to the US?
we do, but we go by the UK. So we don't wholesale. So we just sell direct to the UK.
So then there's Europeans.
Yeah, but there's no tax under that. Don't pay tax.
Yeah, generally, of course, the war, especially Trump, they were pushing taxes higher in China.
There's still a lot of political risk around China. So with the Thailand conflict and so on.
So a lot of companies are moving to Vietnam from China, aren't they?
Yeah, they're benefiting from that, for sure.
Even a little bit of Thailand, Southeast Asia, Mexico. That's a lot of people.
What's the difference?
So that's a really good question, actually. So when you think about raising money, it's about understanding exit as well and having an exit strategy. So it's always a good question to be prepared for. So we're very committed to the brand. It's our life's work. So we are looking for liquidity opportunity, but we're not looking to sell the business. So that could be part of a PE round or a VC round when we're ready. We're looking probably to do another equity round this summer to keep growing, but there won't be a liquidity opportunity from that. 3 to 5 years for liquidity opportunity.
Can I ask you specific about the
Right.
advertising versus ratio to revenue model? Ratio of advertising you put into revenue.
Yeah, sure. So you guys are equally focused, right? So we work to quite a strict ROAS model. So we also ROAS. So for every on performance marketing, we expect fallback. So we monitor that on a daily basis. When there's heat in the market, we get behind it, we spend more. But we do some testing. So we have a separate digital brand bucket that isn't part of the ROAS model. So this season, spend 20 grand just amplifying our marketing story. So we're doing a bit more brand marketing there. Again, so we might have to sort for how we compensate you, but we want to it. So we have nothing in place to be able to amplify every stories. So yeah, we work to also one model with lifetime value, but we are quite we do cohort. So this season we're front loading up into marketing to acquire more full price customers aggressively in peak and using a retention strategy to drive lifetime value through the sales period rather than acquire customers in sales, because we've got career analysis that shows they're not as valuable in the long run. So a lot of that data for fundraising exit is you want to prove that you acquire customers properly so you can scale, but you also want to prove that you understand the journey of repeat purchase. So, for example, there's data to say that actually if you sold someone a t-shirt and you got them hooked into the brand, it's a less considered purchase. So it's not a £200-300 jacket, it's just a t-shirt. You could then prove you retarget them and gravitate them up to outerwear, then that could be a cool play, right? On the other side, if you get them into outerwear, you've already found a customer that loves your brand enough, they're already committed. And then maybe it's easier to retarget them less hard after you've already got them into the more considered purchase. So these are concepts that you can play with and you can kind of talk through from a strategic underbuilding point of view. But until you've actually got the data, you don't know. So for us, we've proved out that actually we don't spend any money on lifestyle. We don't spend money on outerwear. And now we're really concentrating it down only on like mid layers or like jackets and pants. You can sell someone a pants jacket for 300 quid. There's a high likelihood they'll repeat purchase 2 or 3 times over the next 12 months. If you sell someone a t-shirt, there's a low likelihood they'll gravitate up to outerwear. So the more data you can get and the more sophisticated you can be in your customer behavior, your marketing strategy. And that becomes the scale, right? Tyranny is, like I said at the start about the disparate, trying to show global, but disparate. Lots of different places buying, you can really get into the what scalable and what isn't.
So you're kind of positive.
No, we're costing about 2 million turnover at that.
I would track all your sales and digital, like what platforms do you use, technically.
Yes, we partner with a firm called Omnicommerce. So they go into the back end and they provide amazing insight and reports for us. So that's the Omnicommerce.
Okay.
We're a little bit over our schedule, but I think we're a bit
No. Thanks, everyone.